What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now today I've got a couple of fantastic entitled parent stories for you, but just a quick word of warning. As you can probably hear, I've been away for the past few days. My voice is a bit screwed. We're gonna get through this though, because today's first story is absolutely amazing. I read it and I couldn't not narrate it. It's a banger. It's all about an entitled Karen that just leaves her kid behind and gets on a cruise. Not telling anyone, just does it for the sake of it, because why not? And I know my voice is a little bit dodgy, but I have to read this story. Here we go. A short time does not mean you can go on a cruise. This story happened about 10 years ago when I was married to my second and last wife, now my ex-wife. I am a chef and she worked retail. We weren't rich, but we were doing well for ourselves. We each owned our own car and we shared all our money equally. It didn't matter who made more than the other, we were married, so everything was equal. She wanted to take some classes, and instead of working her retail job, she would babysit for extra income, and I was all for it. If that's what made her happy, go for it. After she got settled with her classes, we put out ads for her babysitting side job. I know that what she was offering for the price was much lower than daycares, by a lot, but she wasn't in it for the money. She just loves kids. She took on 3 kids, a 4-year-old boy, an 8-year-old girl, and the other was a 5-year-old girl, if I remember correctly. All the kids were good, and we had a large fenced-in backyard they could play in, with lots of kid toys, and snacks were provided. Most of the parents were friendly, and came in to pick up or drop off their kids. One mother, though, would come in and just say, "See you later," to her little girl, the 5-year-old, and then walk away. No kiss, no I love you, nothing. My ex took in kids from 2:30 p.m. when the younger kids would get out of their respective schools. Kindergarten or preschool, not sure what it was called. Then from 3 p.m. for the older girl. Things seemed to be going well, and my ex was happy. Then, one Monday morning, not afternoon like the schedule said, the entitled mother dropped her daughter off. My ex at that point was in her classes, so she was lucky it was my day off. I said I would watch her until my ex was done, then she would take over. The mum just shrugged like it was nothing and set a duffel bag just inside the door. I'd never been part of my ex-wife's babysitting, except talking to the kids and entertaining them now and again, so I didn't know the drop-off pick-up procedures. Then, like the mother always did, she just turned and walked away. When my ex got out of her classes and saw the girl, she asked where her mum or dad was. She said, "Mummy is going away for a few days. She said I'm staying here with you." Immediately, my ex started calling the girl's mother, only for it to go straight to voicemail. She had a listing for another number listed as dad, but that went to voicemail as well. So my ex watched all 3 kids, like usual, and the parents of the other 2 kids came on time and left. This little girl usually got picked up at 6:30 p.m, but not that day. That time came and went. Then 8:30, then close to 10 p.m. The entire time, my ex was calling these numbers with the same results. Nothing but voicemail. By this time, the little girl had fallen asleep, and we put her in the spare room. The ex called the police to let them know what was going on, but said that we could keep her for now until we reached the mother. After many tries to both numbers with no better results, I went onto Facebook and found this woman's profile. I was going to look for a family member or a contact that we could call, but as soon as her homepage came up, my jaw hit the floor. There was a picture of them on a cruise ship deck as it was leaving port. I called in my ex to see, and she was as flabbergasted as I was. Going through her friends list, I saw her mother. I contacted her to let her know what was happening and told her that someone had to come and pick this girl up. We did not sign up for this. Her mother told us that she would be there as soon as she could. And then, after close to 2 hours, the grandmother showed up and collected the little girl. But she wasn't actually alone. She'd also brought the little girl's father. By the way the girl squealed out, "Daddy," then ran and hugged him, I knew it had been a while since they'd seen each other. We invited them in for coffee, and the grandmother told us the story. From what she told us, her daughter, the entitled mum, had taken her daughter, the kid, and ran off with some rich guy, not telling anyone where she was. The guy on the cruise with her was the man she was cheating with and not her husband. The father had called the police from our place and had them come there for proof of abandonment by the mother. I showed the officer the Facebook photo dated just the night before. He got the father and grandmother to go with him to the police station to fill out the paperwork, but took our statements at our house. We signed them and they were gone. We didn't hear from the mother for the next 3 weeks, and we thought it was odd that she wouldn't call to go nuclear on us. Then, a couple of days later, we had an excited banging on the door. When I opened it, I saw the father beaming with joy, holding his daughter's hand. I invited them in and he filled us in on the juicy details. She made big money and he was a stay-at-home dad. In the last year, she had been distancing herself from him. When he confronted her, she said that he was delusional. Later on, he drove to the store to pick up some odds and ends, but when he got home, she and his daughter were gone. All there was a note saying goodbye and that he would never see either of them again, and the police seemed useless. She started an affair while they were still together, around the same time she started acting differently, but he didn't really clock on. After she ran off, he took the note to her mother, who did everything she could to help, but her daughter was ignoring her as well. She even hired someone to find her. It was just by chance that we found them, and they could not believe their luck. The father said the mother ended up getting some major and minor charges. 1. Child abduction. 2. Child endangerment. 3. Child abandonment. 4. Possession of a controlled substance. 5. Resisting arrest. And 6. Vehicle theft. I guess maybe she rented a car at one airport and never left the keys with it or told anyone where she parked it, because she, of course, wasn't answering her calls or texts. The reason for this? Well, they'd left their phones at home so they wouldn't get bothered on the trip. I don't remember all the charges, and I may have gotten one or more of those ones wrong as well. But the father said that he now has 100% custody of his daughter. The mother got in the region of 16 years in total. She was also ordered by the court to have 0 contact indefinitely or until she finishes her jail time, and extensive therapy. The father was also awarded the house and all assets because he didn't have an income or way to support his daughter. The company the mother worked for also cashed out all stocks or whatever they were and just gave the money to them as well. Even though they didn't have to do that, they were just helping out. The other man she went on the cruise with owned a smallish company with his wife. When this all came out, she started proceedings for a divorce, and since the company was started by her family and he didn't buy into it, it all went to her. She was also taking him to court for more things as well. In the end, he was left with nothing and she had it all. He wasn't charged with any wrongdoings because he wasn't there to drop the little girl off. My ex was sad to be losing such a sweet little girl, but they actually stayed in contact, and as far as I know, they are still in contact. The dad got a job with the kitchen I work in as a server. I didn't get him the job, he did that all himself. I only put in a good word with my boss. I'm now long gone from that place, but he is actually now a co-owner and still goes in every day and serves tables. All tips he normally would make, he gives to the busboys, girls, and hosts and hostesses because they are part-time high school kids who wouldn't get tips. I hope her cruise was worth it. Wow, guys, where to even start with this one? Honestly, look, I know I'm losing my voice a little bit, but I'm a bit speechless after this one. It might not even be the worst thing. What just happened? I thought at the start that maybe she was just like, you know, one of those normal entitled parents that, you know, we've seen many stories about where they just leave their child with a babysitter for longer than the allotted time. But no, going on a cruise and just leaving that, wow. That is a next level. I am shocked. To be fair, it started off pretty insane, but the ending, amazing. And all I can say is congratulations to you and your ex-wife because you handled that so well. And I mean, ultimately, the good guys have got, you know, the bad guys stuff. The bad guys, the entitled people of this story, the kid's mum and her new boyfriend, I guess, if you want to call her that. They had all the money, but ultimately, they lost it all because they're entitled. And that's karma for you. The money went to the good people, and so did the happiness. Good stuff. All right then, moving on to our second story now. How to ruin your life. So, about 10 months ago, a guy goes down outside a strip mall store, has a medical alert bracelet on about a heart condition. Paramedics get called, and they arrive quickly, thanks first responders. They show up in a 4-door pickup with bed shell, all fire engine red, flashing lights and sirens, fire department and paramedics all over the truck. They jump out and start hooking this guy up to blood pressure cuff, sticking the heart monitor pads to him, etc. Then a Karen rolls up behind the paramedics truck and starts screaming that the truck cut her off at the intersection with lights and sirens. Then she demands the paramedic look at her as she melts down while he is starting CPR on the victim. The paramedic is ignoring her entirely, but then has to get something from his truck. She blocks his way and he moves her aside as he goes to the truck. But this is where Karen pulls out pepper spray, hoses the standing paramedic directly in the face. But she's not done. She sprays a second paramedic on the ground and just for the trifecta, hoses down the heart attack victim, screaming that he is too young to have a heart attack. What is happening? My voice is screwed, but so is his story, man. I took this as my cue to remove her pepper spray and hold on to her, with others, until the police arrived. Still, others are trying to help with CPR, while some are trying to wash out the eyes of the paramedics. The police arrive, Karen gets immediately put into handcuffs, and then attempts to bite and kick the police, which results in getting her hogtied and her shirt pulled over her face, at which time she starts screaming the R word. And for the kicker, when the police arrest her, she starts asking, "Do you know who I am?" Results are 2 counts of aggravated assault with a weapon on paramedics, 2 counts of assault on police, 1 count of aggravated assault with weapon on the heart attack victim, who thankfully survived, and resisting arrest with violence. She's also being sued by the heart attack victim for $10 million, which she apparently has. I mean, I guess if she's screaming all about, "Oh, do you know who I am?" maybe she actually is a wealthy person. No one knows who she is, by the way, clearly, and no one wants to, but yeah, maybe she has money. Her criminal trial is coming up. I bought a new suit for it, and my old butt will be there with bells on. Since the entire event is on video from 2 cameras, and who knows how many cell phones, it will be interesting to see what her high-powered legal team is going to cook up. But ultimately, I hope she'll be convicted. Facing a possible 65 years, but she'll practically only get about 10 maximum, if any, prison time. A side note, her husband is a bank vice president and refused to make her bail. It took her 13 days to get her family to bail her out. Wow, okay, I guess that's where the money comes from. I'll try to update when the trial happens. Oh wow, a story that's as messed up as my voice. What a way to end today's video. That's all I can say. I mean, look, maybe we can excuse the pepper spraying the paramedic. Maybe she got confused and was like, "Oh, this person's trying to attack me." Okay, I take that back because, you know, obviously she's just an idiot. But pepper spraying a man that's just had a heart attack and is dying on the ground in front of you. What is that? What is she doing? What an absolute idiot, man. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/EntitledParents. Apologies once again for my voice. I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna recover. That bed right there, I'm gonna be in that very soon. Not in a weird way, but you know, it's just my bed. So you know, that's where I'll be. I hope you've enjoyed the video nonetheless. If you want more from me right away, check out a couple of videos on the screen right there. And if you are new to the channel and you love my lovely hoarse voice, subscribe for more daily content, because tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to be that much better. I'll be honest.